Hello, my name's David Howden and I am the author of The Tooth-Bearer and its follow-up sequel entitled The Tooth-Bearer and the Masked Crown. These adventures follow the young girl called Caitlin who is accidentally transported to the realm of the fairies, where she not only discovers that her route home has been closed, but also she has to help save the realm from the mysterious darkness of disbelief. Does she succeed? Well, you just have to read the books to find out. But in the meantime, I have been spending hours trying to find my car keys. They have gone completely missing. I don't know where they are. I'm beginning to wonder if several characters from my books, the Gremlins, have stolen them and hidden them somewhere. I don't know. In the meantime, why don't I read you a chapter from the books? My latest one, The Tooth-Bearer and the Masked Crown. I do hope you enjoy it. But first, this is something you can amaze your family with. In this story, Caitlin meets a whole new fairy called Mariel. Now she comes from the City of Lights, which is a magnificent city in the realm of fairies, and it's based on Paris in France, which is also known as the City of Lights. But in France, who do you think collects the teeth? Any ideas? Could it be a hamster or a rat? No, it's a little mouse known as La Petite Cerise. I think Mariel, and here she is, helps train the French mice to collect the teeth. You'll meet her in The Tooth-Bearer and the Masked Crown. But first, why don't I read you chapter 1, entitled The Whole Tooth. Charlie Goodman was like any 8-year-old that you may pass in the street, well, to you and me at least. To him, beneath the mop of wavy brown hair, round glasses and freckles, the permanently half-untucked school shirt, which was held wrinkle-free beneath the handmade knitted tank top, he was a superhero, flying through the sky with his cape billowing in the wind, or an astronaut on their first spacewalk. If he ever wanted to impress his dad for a future career, however, he'd say he was training to become a lawyer. That last one was rare, so rare in fact that it was only delivered during family occasions, where the remark would guarantee him an extra slice of cake and a chance to excuse himself from the dining room table on Sundays after lunch to do something more exciting. He believed in many things, from Father Christmas to the Easter Bunny, and life was simple. Presents were delivered at Christmas and eggs appeared on his bedroom over Easter. Easy. Now, however, he was being challenged by the 8-year-old girl who sat calmly in front of him, her back straight and with a very serious expression on her face. So the teeth are used in the construction industry for roads and houses, and all the bad ones, well, they end up in landfill or something like that. I'm not sure really, but you have to look after your teeth, Charlie, or they can't be used at all, and you don't want that, do you? She spoke quickly and excitedly, the calmness leaving her face as if she had prepared this speech for months, but found that she only had a few seconds to deliver it. Charlie looked at her over his glasses and took a deep breath. He laid the well-sharpened pencil he had been twirling between his fingers onto his desk slowly, whilst the girl delivered her speech. Caitlin, the tooth fairy delivers a coin and takes your tooth. That's all there is to it. How do you know the rest? He spoke slowly and quietly, as if explaining a mathematics problem. The girl, in front of him, sat back in the chair and sighed. The other children in her class were filing back in from playtime, and that meant school lessons would soon start. She considered what she was going to say. Her voice had already flown out of the window, as if it were a bird trapped in a room and had suddenly found freedom. She brushed back her hair from her eyes where it had fallen. In rehearsal earlier, her speech had sounded so much more believable. Her life had been as simple as Charlie's was a year ago. It was one thing to believe in the tooth fairy, it was another thing to be asked to save them. But that happened when she was 7, and an accident transported her to the magical land by a tooth fairy called Tilly Lightfeather. Her inquisitive nature had kicked in when she touched the magical necklace that the fairies used to teleport between worlds, and the next thing she knew, she was no longer in a bedroom. Instead, she was in a world populated by fairies, gnomes, sprites, and other creatures she had never seen before. She discovered she not only had to get home again, a rather difficult feat you might think, but also her baby teeth held the secret to saving the land from something they had all referred to as the darkness of disbelief. a term she had coined herself when she found out the darkness was caused by humans forgetting the fairies and their land. Whilst there, she was told that she was a tooth-bearer, a person who had special magical baby teeth that, when a full set had been collected, would cast the darkness that was slowly covering the fairy realm for a year or two, allowing the fairy folk time to come up with a more permanent plan. Once the power of the full set of the tooth-bearer teeth had been used, the darkness would slowly return. This meant that another tooth-bearer would need to be found, and this had been the solution for years. However, if people believed again, as they had many years ago, then the darkness of disbelief would disperse on its own. That was Caitlin's difficult mission as tooth-bearer, to not only slow the darkness with her magical teeth, but also change the hearts and minds of others. It sounded so easy when she was asked to do it by the fairies. People had tried in the past to help the fairy realm, and for short periods it had worked. Photographs taken during the early part of the 20th century had shown fairies playing in gardens, and people believed. However, for every photo taken, there was a mob ready to tear the idea down and try to prove that the photograph was fake. Pictures resigned to the believe-it-or-not section of a newspaper. "Well, Charlie," she started, but her words dried up in her throat as if she had been cast into the hottest, driest desert in the world. She coughed, started again. Her hair fell over her eyes again. "Well, Charlie, you see, I am a tooth-bearer and I have magical teeth. When they've come loose, they're all collected together and laid out in a circle around this crystal thing that is in a very tall tower called the Crystal Shard, which is in the city of London, where a lot of fairies, gnomes, pixies, sprites all live. Well," Caitlin tried to explain. Charlie looked blankly back at her through his glasses. She carried on regardless, speaking faster and faster like a runaway train, even though her voice in her head told her to stop talking. "The large crystal glows. I have not seen it happen yet, but when it does, it takes the power from my teeth, and poof, the darkness disappears." Caitlin flung her arms over her head as if to show the crystal going poof. "Only not forever, as it slowly comes back over time, and another tooth-bearer has to be found when my teeth have all been used up. So I'm helping by getting people to believe in fairies, which would mean that the darkness would live forever and everyone would be happy." By now her inner voice was screaming for her to stop talking, leave the room and hide in a corner. Meanwhile, Charlie's inner voice was telling him to excuse himself politely and go to the toilet. But he was never a person to miss out on a good story, especially when there was someone like Caitlin telling it, and she was always so practical and level-headed until now, anyway. Charlie, against his judgment, had to ask a question. "So the more people believe in fairies, the more the darkness lives forever?" "Yes, I knew you'd understand, Charlie." Caitlin jumped for joy in her seat. "What about the gnomes, pixies and sprites? Does believing in them as well lift the darkness?" "Well, I guess it does," she said, a little unsure of herself. "Are you talking to me because I have a wobbly tooth and you think I'm a tooth-bearer? No. The fairies have a special way of knowing when you find one, and you're not one," she said bluntly. "Oh, sorry, that came out wrong. I meant your teeth are very important, but I'm not asking because I think you're a..." Her voice trailed off. "So you're telling me this story because..." Before either of them could answer, Charlie's glasses were knocked from his head by a school bag slung over the shoulder of a red-haired girl who was passing. She dropped into the seat next to them and rummaged in her bag for her schoolbooks. "Sorry, Charlie, what are you two talking about?" she asked without looking up. Charlie picked up his glasses and put them back on. "Hi, Scarlet. Caitlin was telling me about how we should believe in it. Yourself. Always believe in yourself, Scarlet," Caitlin quickly added, remembering something Tilly the Tooth Fairy had told her once. "Okay," Scarlet intoned, moving her head from one to the other, as if to read the real reason on their faces. "Okay, I'll buy it, but I'll need a receipt." That was Scarlet Dorsey's famous saying for situations where she knew she would not get the answer she wanted. Caitlin knew she was off the hook for now. And Chapter 2 will have to wait. Well, I think I am going to go back to looking for my car keys because I have work tomorrow. I don't know where they are. They're somewhere in this garden. But I do hope you've enjoyed the story. Remember, they're available on Amazon. The Tooth-Bearer, the first book, and its sequel, The Tooth-Bearer and the Masked Crown, both by me. I do hope you've enjoyed them. And remember, if you enjoy my cartoons and my stories, please do leave a review, because it really helps the authors. Thank you ever so much. See you soon.